So in this video, I will build a full stack app from scratch and I will go through each and every part while building this app. We'll use Databutton, your full stack AI dev. So basically we'll use Databutton first to create plans for us from the initial app idea, and we'll execute each and every plans. It's not we, it's Databutton who will execute each and every plan. And then once we'll build up each and every feature of this particular app, which I have in mind, we'll deploy this app. So from plan to deployment, everything will be covered here. We'll have authentication, we'll have Firestore database. If possible, we'll have a storage. We'll have a backend in our app. That's very important. Databutton can build your backend in Python. Of course, we'll have a front end and we will also integrate this backend to its front end. So overall, a full stack app using Databutton's unique workflow, which is the reasoning, the plans. I will do everything from scratch. I will explain each and every steps so that you can build your first full stack app in Databutton. All right, in Databutton, you can start building with a description of your app. I will quickly show you what app I have in mind. Very simple app, but it covers each and every aspect while building. It's a bug report app. It can be a feedback report app, description, bug report app with AI analysis, where users can submit any bugs related to their current software development. Yeah, I think that is good enough for a very quick description. The next part is the requirements part. Usually in the requirement part, we need to give a bit of introduction about our tech stack. Front end with React, a backend in Python. Also said the language model. You can actually explicitly write your language model. I will be using GPT-4o Mini. I can also swap my models, and Databutton has a very close native integration with Firebase. So my authentication will be with Firebase. A database, which will be again with Firebase, has Firestore. A storage also I can implement, but we'll see how far we go. And I'll have few pages here, this will be home page, and I will have a bug report page, a dashboard page. That's my initial idea of this app. And there are a few AI features we will implement as much as possible, but this is nothing but a backend call. So we'll see how far we go. But each of this specification, each of this aspect of this app will cover in this entire video. I will make a PDF file of this entire specification and I will upload. All right, so I have uploaded the bug report app with AI analysis PDF file. You can upload in PDF or you can upload in a TXT file. That works pretty well. So now from description, we went to requirements file. Both of them is done. This is the initial onboarding in Databutton 2.0. You will see the magic after this. And then we have the inspiration part. I will upload few screenshots from Trello. That's very similar, a very similar kind of style where it's more like bug report, or you can just have some tickets out there. I'll just upload few screenshots there. I have the screenshots up and running now. I will go to the next step, which is very, very important. What are the integrations which I would like to have for this bug report app? Let's say I want to have Firebase Auth. For sure, we need an authentication for this app. Firebase Auth, we have a database, which is Firestore. I think this too is pretty good to start with. Stripe integration, that's for future, or a storage. I'm not integrating now these two. First thing is Auth and the database. And then we hit let's start. So if you see this very unique onboarding where we already start with the app idea from description, then the text specification, then some inspiration where we add some wireframe or images or screenshots. You can upload multiple images out there. And then we specify the integrations. For us, right now, it's the Auth and the database, but you can integrate other services as well. We'll come to that. But for now, this is a great place to start with. And as you see, Databutton already took those ideas from me or from us, and it divided into couple of to-dos or couple of plans. What we see is create a modern landing page introducing the bug mind. So the app name is bug mind, and that's why it's bug 1, bug 2, bug 3. Not bad. That's the initial few characters by which it is defined. And I will just open the very first task here. If you see, the first tag is create a modern landing page introducing BugMine. That's the title of this task. And then there is a description of it, how it will create this. It says that design and implement a landing page that introduces BugMind's core value proposition, includes sections and call to action, everything is there. Use Shartsian components and follow the dark theme with modern brutalist design principles. I think I am happy with this description of it, and I will just start the first task. While Databutton is at work, I'll just quickly go through other tasks. The task 2 is set up Firebase authentication and user profiles, build a bug report submission with AI analysis, implement the bug report dashboard with filtering, add AI-powered solution suggestion feature, create bug report view with collaboration feature, implement screenshot upload management, add export and reporting capabilities. We will try to cover at least 4 to 5 of this just to make sure that our app is up and running with all the critical features. Databutton is now writing or executing the very first task. It's in progress. From to do, it went to progress. Once it ends, it will come to the done section. It's very simple, which is very much aligned with Databutton's way of working. You have an AI developer working on your side whom we can say which task to start, which task to pause, which task it is done. You will see when I hit the done button as well. And you can actually create new task out here. You can create a new task and start it as well. And if you feel like few tasks, it's not important. For example, I think this collaboration feature is not important. I just confirm this till it. So now Databutton says that it has actually implemented it, and it is asking me if I want to deploy it. I can just start deployment. But before that, I will hit this preview section, which is nothing but the entire app out here. And if you see, the entire app is now ready. I will just hide this sidebar. The app is out here. So I'll just give a quick intro for people who are trying out Databutton for the first time. Here we have the chat section where you can prompt, you can monitor your task. Out here, the task which is in progress, or this is the task right now Databutton is working on. You have the preview out here. I'll just hide the console part. The entire app preview, you see it here. You can open this preview in a new tab. You can check it for tablets or mobile view. All of this previews available, and you can check the entire code. So if someone who knows how to write this code or edit this React code, you can do that as well. It's super simple. And if you have any error somewhere, this is a console place, which is very, very handy when it comes to any errors or something which you need to monitor within your app. All right, so we have the preview feature up and running. Before deploying, I'll just mark this task as done. Let's look into this task first. If I just hit mark as done, now from progress, it went to done feature. Now, if I open this done feature, you will see it added the activity which Databutton did on building this or completing this particular task. It's out there. We have finished the first task. And the next part now is starting the next task, which is set up Firebase authentication and user profile. I will just hit this task and let's see where we go from this task onwards. We already have this particular preview up and running for us. We can even hit this deploy button to start deployment. Everything will be live for everyone. Now, while the deployment is going on, we have already started the next task for us, which is Firebase authentication. And as it started, Databutton tells me here, would you like to add Firebase to your app? And I hit add Firebase right now. So when I say this, this means that I need to provide with few configuration file right now here. This is somewhere Databutton has a very close integration with Firebase. So Firebase is nothing but it's a Google service, which is very popular for having your authentication for your backend or for your storage, for your database. Firebase is very, very popular. Time being for in Databutton, we'll use Firebase service for using our authentication as well as database setup. So right now here, I need this particular config file. So what I will do is I will just grab the config details from one of this project. So, all right, so I'll just give a name out here. It's called as, let's say, BugMind, because that's our app's name. I will hit the continue button. Again, I'll hit the continue and hit a default account and create this project. So right now in Firebase, I created my first project out here, which is called as BugMind. It takes few seconds to create or generate this entire project. Meanwhile, I'll come back here. There are a few directions which is very important to notice. One thing is we need to add this config file, which we'll see. Next part is to configure our auth providers, which is the authentication settings. We recommend enabling email and Google signing. So how your users or this particular user's app want to get inside is via Google sign-in or via login email and password. And the next part is to add few domains to it. So this is one of the domain, databutton.com, as well as we need to add the deployed URL as well. We will do this second step, and once that step is done, since we are also adding the database to it, we need to enable the Firestore database. Very important because it's interaction between the Databutton's front end and the Firebase storage database. So we'll make sure that each and every step out here is actually covered. So I'll just go back now here. The project is ready. I hit the continue button. BugMind is ready for us. Now we can work on it. First thing, it's an web app. So I'll just hit the web icon out there, give a name, BugMind, and the next part is register app. While we do that, we'll see it will give me a part of this config file which I need. I'll just copy it and let me just continue to console. Here I come, I add this here. So now I have added this config details out here. I'll just install Firebase Auth. I will wait for it to create the login, the logout, the config details, and it will restore the entire workspace. As you can see, the app is now protected with Firebase integration. If I just hit the done button and I just go and check here, two of the pages are added. One of them is the login page and the logout page. Those two are added. If I just go to the login page now, it has sign in with Google, and the logout page is also out there. So both of the pages are already enabled there. The app is still working. It's writing few code. So Databutton is still writing some lines of code out here. We'll see what it does. Meanwhile, while it writes the code, I'll just quickly come back here. We have few more steps still to do, which I mentioned earlier out here. If I just go to Firebase, this 3 steps which we still need to accomplish, I will do that meanwhile. If I go here, I'll go to authentication and I will hit the get started button. And now once I hit that part, I need to enable 2 things. One is the Google, and here we add another sign-in method, the email and password. Enable it and we save it. That's it. That's it for authentication. We also love to have our Databutton's URL out here, this authorized domain part. So I'll just copy this particular URL out here. Go back here, go to settings, go to authorized domains. Here I add this domain and I hit it, add domain. That's while we're working in our developmental phase. But we also need this particular URL. I'll just copy this from here and I will add. This is important because when we deploy this particular app, we also need access to Firebase. So that's why we added both of them. We can test in databutton.com when we're working on the app. Also, when the app is deployed and is accessible for all your users, we need this particular website of your app. If you have a custom domain, you need to add that as a domain as well. So we are done with the second step of our app while integrating Firebase. Now there's a third step which we need to do. That is enabling the Firestore database. We have to do that step as well. This is very important. So I just go back here. I go to the sidebar, go to build and Firestore database. We just need to enable this. So I just hit create database. The best thing is to start with the test mode. What I would do here is I'll just go to Europe because I'm right now in Europe, and I would just hit the next button and I start in test mode. You can always convert from state mode to production anytime. So I'll just hit the create out here. Our Firestore database is now getting created. That's it. Once we are here already, we have enabled our Firestore database. And now it's time to see how we can interact this Firebase, the authentication as well as the database with our app. Now, if I go to authentication, there is no email out here yet. So I'll just go back here. I'll hit this and I will just go sign in with Google. Let's see if it works or not. It's moment of truth. I'll just try with my Databutton account. I hit continue. Let's see. And we are already the login is working and it takes directly to me to the logout flow. I need to make sure that this part works well. So what I would do is, here is where I will ask Databutton to update few things. When the user logs in via the login page, can you route the user on successful login to the profile page? Make sure navigation works well. This is the prompt which I added now. When the user logs in via the login page, I use the hashtag prompting. It's precision prompting, which you call it as. Can you route the user to on successful login to the page or the profile page? So basically, if you use this hashtag, all the UI components, the pages, the data files, everything will pop up. You can always select them. I'll just hit this button while Databutton is at work. I will show you a few things out here. On the left hand side, you have all the pages. You also have the UI components. Components are nothing but the reusable part of the page. You have the UI files or the utility files, which helps with the storage or the type selection. All this thing is under the UI files. And then we have the APIs or the backends. And then we have public media files. If you upload a particular image out here, it's accessible. You have a logo in mind. You just upload out here. It's accessible, the entire app. And then you have the internal storage, all the images or the PDF files, everything which you added in the very first section, it's stored out there. You can also upload new files out there. So Databutton now made sure that once user logs in, it goes to the profile page. We'll see if that works or not. I'll just log in again. And now this particular part should allow user to log in. Not bad at all. I'll say, can you make sure to add a shortcut or navigation to the profile page to when the user is successfully logged in. Also add the logout option. All right, so we didn't directly navigate it to the profile page, but we see an improvement where Databutton, after successful login, it at least goes to the home page back there. So basically it's logging and then going back to the reloading the home page. Now what I asked Databutton is that, can you make sure to add a logout button on successful login? Also a button to navigate to the profile page. It's out here, the profile page. We want that features to be there as well. So let's go to home page now. And now we have at least one of this. I think this is the profile page. If I go here, there's a profile page out here. We are yet to see all the profile details. That's yet not fetched. We'll ask Databutton to implement that as well. But this is already a good move from here. And I have the logout button as well. So the logout button, the profile navigation is working well. Now the next part is we want to make sure that the profile page is populated with the profile details. Can you make sure that the profile page shows the profile details of the logged user? So I asked Databutton that when you navigate to the profile page, it should make sure to show the profile details. While Databutton is at work, I will want to just explain a few steps out here. This shield means these pages are protected under the authentication. We can always click this and disable auth. Then you can access that particular page. If I go back to the particular home page, it does not show the logout or the profile section. So we are not logged in yet. So I'll just go to the login section now. I just hit sign in with Google. Maybe I'll just start with the same email ID. It should take me back to the home page actually. Let's see if it navigates. Yeah, that's right. We're in the root page now. And now if I go to profile section, let's see. Yeah, it load all the details out. I also want to check back in the Firebase if it's working well or not. If I just go back here and I just refresh this, it should show that email ID which I have logged in already. You see, that email ID is being used as one of the users. Now I go to the Firestore database. It has a profile out here, the email and the user unique ID, the updated at the create, all these are getting created. So your authentication and also your database is enabled and working seamlessly now. I'll go back to Databutton now. Here, I want to make few changes. For instance, I want when I hit this start reporting smarter, it should actually take me to one of the pages. But there are a few changes which we still need to make. But let's try to work alongside Databutton. So now it says that the page should be working. And if I now go back to the plan section, it has done all this implementation, the updated changes which I asked, everything it has done. I think it's working out pretty well. And when I say this, I'm expecting Databutton will tell me, do I want to continue or am I done with this particular task or not? Let's see. Would you like to mark bug to set up Firebase authentication user profile as complete? Yes, it's done for me. So we have finished almost 2 of the tasks within no time. Now it's time to create the next part, which is build a bug report form with AI analysis. So I'll just hit the start task. Let's start building the next task, which is build a bug report submission form with AI analysis. So it first starts with asking me to input the OpenAI API key. It's an AI analysis, so it actually needs the OpenAI API key to use probably the GPT-4o model as we suggested over the tech stack. So I'll just provide with one of my API key. All right, so I'll just hit the send button. So Databutton can actually store secrets. And if I now go to settings out here, you will see there are a lot of possibilities. One of them is the app. I'll just quickly go through them. The name of the app, the pitch which I used at the very beginning, the app description, the target audience, everything is created under the hood. And the design of the app, it comes from the images which I choose. You can always change them. Also, there's an agent, there's a custom instruction which you can set it. It's all under the settings feature. You can add a custom instruction for this agent, by the way. And also, you have something called a secrets, where this secret which you just entered, the OpenAI API key, that gets stored out here. You can add your own secret and you can store more secrets out there. There are a few other features. For example, you can invite others to your app and you can work together. You have some design features which you can implement, like what kind of screen size by default which you want. That also out there. And if you want to implement custom domain, you just need to plug it there and send the request. Everything is under the settings. So if you're new here, make sure to use it as much as possible. Now Databutton created the first backend for us. You see, that's the first backend Databutton created for us. I will see how it looks like. So here it goes. It wrote a fast API router for us. So it's in Python and it uses the first API and it wrote this entire stuff for us. Analyze the bug report and provide severity category, brief analysis, possible solution. The bug report should look like this. It uses GPT-4o mini. That's fantastic. It's one of the latest model, by the way, from OpenAI. And it runs that model. And Databutton has written this backend for us as well. Let's say it made few changes here, the thought for a moment and everything. It's working on its own, okay? So we don't need to care about it as much. And it also shows few warnings in the console log. That's why the console log is very, very important when it comes to understand the front end and the backend integration. I'll also show testing of the backend, for which the console window comes super handy. Like those are the features which Databutton comes along with. Those are not simple features, pretty complicated features under the hood. The agent is aware of it. It's a dev which is working alongside you. It knows how to test a particular backend. It knows how to make a web research. So literally you can paste an URL to Databutton. It'll go to the web, get the context, and then work on it. So it has all these powerful tools to work with it. Now, it says me that it has implemented something. I will just quickly say, like, let's read the thought out here. This is very, very interesting out here, how Databutton is thinking. It says that I have implemented the bug report submission system. You can now test it. Click start reporting smarter or get started now on the landing page. All right, we'll do that. Fill out the form when clicking login button. Oh, it gave an example also, how to test it. Perfect. The system will submit the report to OpenAI for analysis. Get severity and category prediction. Store the report in Firestore. Show a success notification. Wow. So as it said, go to the home page, click the start reporting smarter. Wow. So we actually have a new page now, which is called a submit bug. So Databutton integrated that as well. I will just start with this example which it gave me. All right, our description, I will just copy and paste this entire thing. It gave me everything to test as well. And I will just paste this part here. And the expected behavior, all right. And actual behavior button click has no effect. All right, that also I'll just put it here. And I will just hit the Chrome here. And I will just keep my tab open. Why I'm opening it? Because when I hit I'll just clean this also. Submit report. It should actually call my backend. So it's post analyze bug report. That's what it's getting called. And there is an error for sure. There is an error for it. And I see there is a 500 unexpected error occurred. What I would do is I'll just copy this. I'll just ask Databutton, can you read the error which got triggered on calling the backend? I'll use hashtag. It's not important, but you can just do that to be much more precise. Make sure to fix it. You can simplify the logic as well. And I think that's it. And I hit that start button, which will just go as a prompt. It will read the logs. So this is one of the tools which Databutton has. Basically, it reads the logs from the error and it tries to understand. So if I just hit this thought for a moment, Databutton is a thinking agent. It's a reasoning agent. It takes all the observation which it notices and then it writes the code. So right now it actually found the issue. Response parsing is not cleaning white space. Solution parsing logic could be improved. Need to add better error handling. It went through each and every stuff out here. And now it's actually updating the API code for me. It's updating the API code for me here. So all the thought process which under the hood, it updated here. And it actually changed this particular API for me. You can see real time, it updated that for me. And it's reloading the API so that I can test it. Why not test the API myself first? What I would do is, can you test the, let's see. Oh, actually it's doing that. It's actually calling the API endpoint. It's testing it itself because it saw there was an error and it found that error now again and it's trying to fix it. I will leave it to Databutton. But if Databutton could not solve this part, what I would do instead myself is kind of make this a bit more simpler, the logic out there, so that it does work in a way where the logic is much more simpler. And from there, we'd make it a bit more complicated. So Databutton could successfully call this analyze bug report. That's the endpoint. And it successfully did that. If you see, it's made sure that it could actually call that. It tested that endpoint. And now let me try to do this again. I'll just submit bug report. I'll just try it myself from the front end again. Hopefully this would work. It does work. And now I'll just ask Databutton, do we save the output from the submit bug report? It should be the bug analysis back to the Firestore. I'll just ask it. If not, can we do it via the front end again? So this particular plan, which is building the bug report submission with form analysis, it does everything. It should add navigation to a submit bug page, update CTA buttons. I think we need to also add this back to our Firestore database, which we didn't do. So we do save the analysis output to Firestore. Let me just quickly open that. Looking at the bug store implement, check the current implementation in bugstore.ts, update if needed to save the analysis output. All right, so it technically should have done that. It says that it should be somewhere in the utility files, bugstore.ts here. But I don't see it here. Hence, I asked Databutton that, does it do it or not? If not, we should implement that. All right, it actually does it. This bug section, here it does this entire thing. Cool, I'll just go back now. I think I'm super happy. Meanwhile, I'll just go to report. And here I will just say, let's say a new bug. And I'll just add some random stuff here. Let's see. And I just hit the submit bug report. Let's see if it could analyze it. So it's analyzing using AI. It shows that it worked. I go back here. It's real time. And now here it goes. All the data is getting stored back in our Firestore database. This is super, super cool. I think it works very well. I think I'm super happy with this implementation. Okay, and it works pretty well. Again, here it saves the decision to the task. It updates from my interaction with Databutton back to its plan. So it's a two-way sync with the agent from the user and from Databutton to the user. Databutton is your AI developer, which is working alongside with you. This entire thought is now getting added back here. In this here, it will get added back. All this reflection, all this part where it thinks, the comments, everything gets updated here. Yes, mark it as a done. And now this part is also finished. So we had an authentication system. We had a database storage system. Even now it's asking me, shall I deploy the app? I'm happy to deploy it. This app is getting deployed. This app is available for everyone. This app has a AI implemented backend feature for us right here. It is implementing backend where it is using GPT-4o Mini, which is one of the latest model from OpenAI, and it's analyzing the entire thing, the severity, the suggested category, the analysis, everything, the possible solution to it. It's storing everything back in a scalable data storage, which is Firebase. Everything is stored out here analyzed by AI from this front end. Go back here, we have more tasks to fulfill, which is implement the bug report dashboard with filtering. We'll do that as well. I'll just hit this as a start and then add AI powered solution suggestion feature, which we can do it, or we can just skip that part. But let's do this dashboard part because we have everything pretty much well organized now. So we have this submit bug report. We have a profile page where we can see the entire details of a profile settings. It would be really nice for individual users if we have a dashboard to understand. So I think there where we are going for the next task. And the best part always with Databutton is to read its thoughts. It says needs to create a dashboard page for bug report filtering. We need filtering for category, severity, status, need to display AI inside. We already have the data stored in Firestore. So what Databutton now will do is it will fetch the data back from the database, from the Firestore, and will put it back in this dashboard page. So Databutton is now creating this entire stat calculation, the new page, which will handle the entire dashboard thing. It's now working on that. I'll just quickly, let's say, if I now create, it also integrated the navigation now. Initially, it was not adding that. So if I just go in, it should take me to submit bug. Yeah, here we are. I would expect a new dashboard kind of addition, which I'm yet to see. It's still writing the code for the dashboard page. Let's wait for it. I think what Databutton is doing is it's actually adding a couple of UI components. Here it's breaking down the page into UI components, and that would be updated in the main dashboard page. And here comes the dashboard page now. So if I navigate to the dashboard page, let's see, let's try the dashboard page now. It has the entire bug stored in from my database. It should be out here. All right, so I don't see all the app, but it should also update the app with the fetching of the data from the Firestore. It's still validating the UI for us now. Let's see if it can do that for us. All right, it's adding dashboard navigation to landing page. So if I just go to landing page, there should be a navigation. There's a view dashboard. It's still updating, writing the code in the navigation component. As you can see, Databutton can divide the pages into UI components, which it can use in different pages. Everything it does autonomously. It's your AI dev building each and every section of the app where I just started a task. It starts integrating. Wow, I now have a navigation bar on the top. I'm still waiting for Databutton to actually validate the UI and get it done for me. It thinks that it has done successfully updated navigation component with full navigation bar, the submit bug, everything is out there now. It says, I have completed the implementation of the bug report dashboard. Could you please test it out? Navigate to the dashboard. I'll just do the first thing which it says. Out here, that's at least the navigation part. It's working. Use the navigation bar dashboard link. Check that the box work and the active state is highlighted. I think it's pretty much, there is some error out here. I see this error. I will make sure. I will ask you to read a button. But will I just refresh it? Let's see. I see this error when I hit the drop down of filter by severity in the dashboard page. I will just try to fix this part. But still there is one error which I'm sure it's not there yet. or it's not an error, or it's a feature which has not been added, is it still does not fetch all the bugs which I have reported from this profile back to the Firebase, which is basically out here. It should show me over the dashboard, but we'll ask Databutton to fix it. It will take care of that because everything gets added to a plan. I don't see all my bug report from the Firestore database over my dashboard. Can you check that issue? So I don't see all this report from here, out here. I need to see that. So for that, I think what it needs to do is fetch the data from the Firestore database. So it's saying that bug reports from Firestore are not showing up. Need to check the bug store subscription and filtering logic. Need to verify the Firestore query. So yes, and now we have it. It just made sure that the query is made and everything is out there. Category distribution, everything. A new bug. I don't think that has been implemented yet, but at least it grabs it. Super cool, okay? Severity high, open, everything is now gathered from that. So that logic was not implemented. That's why we got that error. I think this is super cool. Okay? This is really fantastic. If I now go back to, let's say, if I just submit a bug or something, that would be really nice. I need a new example for submitting a bug. I will ask Databutton if it can provide me with an kind of example to submit a new bug. I need a new bug type example. Can you provide one so that I can test it better? Anyways, it's validating the UI and everything is going under the hood. Meanwhile, I just want to submit a new bug. Let's ask Databutton to do that. It's much more fun if we see more data here. So let's ask Databutton if it can just provide me with a new example for that. Okay, here it gives an example from me. It gives more in a code snippet. We don't need that for time being. All right, so I'll just hit the submit report. It should actually do the AI analysis and go there. All good, great. I go to this dashboard page, and now we have two reports out there. One of them is authentication unexpectedly expires during active use. That's our very latest one, which is created. Severity high, open, status is now open. So we have each of these features now actually integrated. I think I'm really happy with this. If I just go to the plan back here, implement the bug report dashboard filtering, I would say I'm happy with this feature. So as you can see, the workflow, I make changes and updates this plan. And every time I'm doing via interaction, it's my AI dev which is sitting beside me, going task after task, and I am fulfilling those tasks, getting it done here. So my to-do list is getting fulfilled one after other, and I'm deploying the app. Once I'm deploying the app, it's out there for everyone live. We have authentication, we have database stored and fetched from there. We have a dashboard up and running. I think this is already enough to understand this entire workflow, how we can work. Before I go and check the deployment version of it, I'll just quickly show you a quick summarization of this entire app. Few things which we need to know about Databutton's Workspace is the restore version, which help us to restore any part of the app. We have these settings here. We can change a custom instruction to the agent. We can change the design, the key features. We have the production where we can ask for a custom domain, a design, secrets. You can also add your collaborators. You can work together in one single app. And we have this close Firebase integration, which is just explain each and every steps. That's super convenient to work with. You have the authentication, you have the storage, everything can be implemented just by interaction with Databutton. But the main and the most coolest part is out here, the plan. The plan is the workflow, how you work with Databutton, a dev beside you with whom you're working. So you have all this task designed for you. You go one task after other. You can skip the task as well. I can start with add, export, and reporting capabilities. Everything you go alongside Databutton. If you think something needs to be added, you can add it. You can ask Databutton that needs to be added. Databutton adds it over its own learning. You can add a new comment to it. You want few changes to your task, you can do that as well. And then you have the preview section where you have all the pages. Pages are mainly the main key aspect of your app. You can build multi-pages app. Here we have home, the dashboard, the login, the logout. Everything is out there. You have the UI components, which is the small fragments of your app, which you have as UI components. Other thing is the UI files, the utility files. These utility files are mainly responsible for your database. And there comes the APIs, which is mainly your backend, which is your fast API router connected to your front end. Console out here. This power of console is very underrated, but you can actually use the console to understand if there is any bug in your app. You can just copy it, pass it to Databutton, ask it to fix it. It works really well. And if you're happy with this part, you can just test it for any devices. Any device you can check it. From mobile to tablet to your desktop, you can check for everything. And if you're someone who knows how to code, just hit the edit code. Just go there, make any changes out here in this code block. We have our app deployed. I'll just go to the deployed version of this app. Okay, as you can see, it's not logged in yet. I'll just hit the start reporting page. It brings me to sign in with Google. Sign in with my different email here, which shouldn't have any bug report or anything in the dashboard. That's what I expect. If I see here, none of them is reported. I'll just quickly add my first bug, like bug 1, and I just go like this, and I just hit the submit bug report. Once I do that, it should add back to my Firestore database. And I think what I need to do is, I should have added this before, but I'll just make sure that if I go back here now, I'll make sure that I go back to somehow I need to go back to my dashboard page. Dashboard. Yeah, so if I'm in the dashboard page, you can see particular bug is reported already here. The bug 1, it's already reported. Right now, we don't have this navigation feature, which you can add as well. If we have that navigation feature, I don't need to do this. If I do this, the bug mind, if I just change this particular URL, then I can navigate to any of these pages. However, we don't have this navigation part. We can quickly add that to each of these pages. Let me do that. Let me do that and make sure that we can do that and make sure that things are working well. Can you add the navigation bar for each of the pages? Let's ask Databutton to add a navigation bar for each of the pages. By the way, right now, we don't have any of the task ongoing, so we don't see anything. I'm just prompting Databutton to add a navigation bar like this for each of the pages so that we can just navigate easily. And if we deploy that part, that will be way more easier. Once we do this part, I'll come back to the deployed version. You will see how easy it is to navigate between pages. We're updating the code now. I would expect the dashboard page to also have this particular navigation here. Let's see if that works. So Databutton says that it has implemented these changes out there and asks me, it prompts me to deploy the app. However, I don't see the navigation bar here, although I see it here. If I go to submit bug, there is this, but not for dashboard. Here where I will use the precision prompting. Almost there, but I don't see it for the dashboard. I think that needs to be implemented there. So basically, Databutton added the code for submit bug, profile, login, and logout, but not for the dashboard page. And I need for the dashboard page. Okay, so that's why it should also update for the dashboard page. And while I do that, I will also want to mention that this feature is mainly coming from the UI components. There's a navigation. Here, the UI component is very handy. This UI component is reusable. It's reused across all the pages. Databutton breaks it down into UI components. If it needs some utility file, it divides into utility file. Right now, with one single prompt, it has added this navigation bar out here as well. That's pretty cool. And now if Databutton prompts me for deployment, I'm super happy. I'll just hit the deploy app and you see this app is now deployed. Once it's deployed, I'll go back to the app again. Now I'll go to the deployed version and see if I can just add or submit and watch the dashboard function or not. All right, the app is now successfully deployed. So I'll just click this, open it again, open in a new tab. And now if I go back, let's see which profile it is actually. It's my other profile. That's all right. I'll go to the dashboard page. All these pages are working. All right, so it has only one of it out here. We need to submit a new bug. I have asked ChatGPT to give me a new bug example. So I'll just add this. All right, we have added a new bug. Button not responding when click. And I submit this report. Hopefully it's using the backend feature, which is already deployed now. Now if I go to dashboard page, all right, it has now 2 bugs. This is a medium, by the way, severity. Shall I add another submit bug? Okay, let's do that. All right, I submitted a new bug, image not displaying on the profile page. Now, if I go back to dashboard, there should be a new bug. Here you go. So this entire thing is, by the way, AI generated classification of the bug. So we built everything from scratch. We built this entire app from scratch. It's a full stack app. And this is entirely built by Databutton from scratch using this amazing workflow, breaking down my idea into different plans. And we executed each and every plans. We finished the first 4 plans already. And we also interacted it. Databutton took a note of it at every section wherever there is something new came up. And now we deployed this app out here. It's available already out here. So everything from the plan to the deployment to build a full stack app where we added the authentication, we added the database, everything from scratch in a very short time span. We did this. Covered main key aspect to build an app. I'm happy to integrate more features to this app or a new app. So please write it in the comment section and let us know which next app I should build or which feature I should elaborate a bit more. Cheers.